choice for who will be the state's next attorney general.
Reports say Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg will not be running for re-election. Sources say Ravnsborg has been telling close confidants and Republican delegates that he won't be running again for office this year, no matter the outcome of a Senate impeachment trial. Ravnsborg was impeached by the South Dakota House of Representatives in April over his actions related to a deadly crash in September of 2020. His Senate trial is set for June 21st and 22nd. I'm Kyle Cornell, WDAY News First.
And St. Paul Police Department Chief Todd Axtell has left the department. The city council named department veteran Jeremy Ellison as interim police chief yesterday. Ellison says he will not be putting his name in for a permanent position. The city council hopes to hire a new permanent chief by late summer or early fall. This is Ty Shoners with The Flag and AM 1100theflag.com. First with the news when you need to know.
Save big on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Check out Menards' great selection of automotive products and restore your headlights to look like new again. A Turtle Wax Lens Restorer Kit removes discoloration and improves clarity. Right now, pick up a headlight lens restorer kit for only $7.99 after 11% rebate. Good through June 5th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
The president addresses the nation tonight. Lisa Brady, Fox News. He'll talk about gun violence the day after the latest mass shooting, and remarks also directed at lawmakers.
The president has directed his staff to continue to explore additional actions we can take, but we can't do this alone, and it's time for Congress to act.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the president is encouraged by what's happening on Capitol Hill. Democrats in the House advancing proposals that could include raising the minimum age to buy an assault-style rifle from 18 to 21, though many Republicans argue the current proposals won't stop mass shootings.
No one wants another tragedy. No one wants this to happen again. That's why it's regretful that Democrats have rushed to a markup today in what seems more like political theater than a real attempt at improving public safety or finding solutions.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan during a House committee hearing today. In the Senate, bipartisan talks continue. Police in Tulsa say the man who killed 4 people at a medical center yesterday bought an AR-15 style rifle just a few hours before the attack, and that his doctor, who was among those killed, was the target over ongoing pain from recent back surgery. Arraignment day in New York for the 18-year-old suspect in the supermarket shooting that left 10 Black people dead. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown.
The families of the victims have demanded and are demanding justice. The members of this community are demanding justice.
The suspect pleading not guilty to 25 counts, including 10 counts of first-degree murder and a charge never before filed in New York State, domestic terrorism motivated by hate. Britain's Queen Elizabeth just attending the second event of a 4-day celebration marking 70 years on the throne. But the palace says she will skip tomorrow's church service after some discomfort earlier today. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
School's out for summer, but if your business is running QuickBooks, you'll never get a break. Their manual processes and delays will leave you scrambling. Graduate to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. No matter how big your business grows, with NetSuite, you gain visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more, just like 93% of surveyed businesses who already graduated. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program. Head to netsuite.com/
We'll have partly cloudy to mostly clear conditions through this evening into tonight, with wind lightening up around 5 to 15 as it turns to the north-northeast throughout the overnight hours. We'll drop down to a low of 40 and rebound back to 72 for your Friday afternoon. Partly cloudy out there with a southwest wind around 5 to 15. And for your Saturday, wind remains light. Another partly cloudy afternoon with highs in the lower 70s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Hello. My name is Blake Hankey, and I am running for district judge. I've been an attorney for 18 years, litigated thousands of cases in a variety of practice areas. I love this community and being involved. I'm a 1994 graduate of Fargo South High School, a youth hockey coach for the Fargo Youth Hockey Association, and the current mayor of Harwood. My family and I would appreciate your vote on June 14th. For more information, please visit hankeyforjudge.com.
Paid for by the committee to elect Blake Hankey.
One more time, got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate.
The Chris Berg Show, where faith and freedom reign.
One more time.
Breaking news, President Joe Biden speak tonight, 6:30 p.m. our time, to talk about how he's going to take away your gun rights. They're going to call it something else, label it something else, but tonight you're going to hear President Joe Biden begin to just chip away at more of your God-given fundamental rights. I'm going to share with you kind of the language they're going to be using, what's happening here, where they believe they've got the opportunity right now to strip away your Second Amendment rights. Also, if you haven't heard of what is going on in Canada, we'll play some of that for you as well. I'm sure many of you heard, but if you haven't, there is a piece that's not being talked about that is really, really important for you to know. So welcome to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth. 1 second here. To help set you free, coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better. I want to give you a couple different scenarios as we jump into what's going to happen tonight with President Joe Biden's speech. What he's going to do is use executive orders to begin to chip away at your Second Amendment rights. Of course, we're in a midterm election. He's not going to come out and say what Trudeau says, and there's going to be no more sales of handguns and, that kind of stuff. I mean, many people are wondering, where is Joe Biden? What's going on? But he's not going to say that. He knows, look, that would be the end of any majority in the House and the Senate. But two different scenarios here. Young man walks into a school, firing off rounds. We've been led to believe maybe hundreds of rounds. And there's 15 plus law enforcement officers with weapons, with firearms, standing inside the school and do not fire any rounds because they've been ordered not to. So think about that scenario for a moment and how many lives were lost as people were good guys with guns, stood there and did nothing. How many lives were lost when you have good people with guns that did nothing? How many more second, third, and fourth graders did we lose because of that inaction of good people with guns? There's one scenario I want you to think about for a moment and just ask yourself, how many more lives could have been saved if the good people with the guns would have actually used them? Another scenario that I'm actually going to play for you in a little bit here, if you haven't heard about what happened recently in West Virginia. Guys in West Virginia, he gets triggered, no pun intended, comes back with one of those weapons of war, right? An assault rifle, an AR-15, comes back to this location in West Virginia. He is getting ready now to, according to reports, probably take out 20 to 30 people. And yet what happened? You had a good woman with a gun stand up, use it, shoot the person, the bad guy with the gun, and guess how many lives were lost in West Virginia? 0. Nada. That's what happens when good people with guns actually use them for the right reasons. So some of you are saying, well, Chris, you just said that President Joe Biden's going to come after my gun rights, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're going to be saying, over my dead body, that's my Second Amendment right. He's got no right to come after my guns. Let me ask you this. As you sit there and want to maybe pound your chest and talk about, look, this is my Second Amendment right. He's got no... How many people do you know? Because think about this for a moment. In your First Amendment, you've got a right to freely assemble. You have got a God-given right, according to our First Amendment, to freely assemble. And yet, how many people do you know, because the government told them, government said you shouldn't do this, how many people do you know didn't even go to church? The government said, Nobody can assemble, not 10 or more people. We all know what happened in the last 24 months. How many people do you know just freely, there it is, pun intended, freely just acquiesce their God-given rights to the government because the government said, don't do it? A lot of people did. How many people do you know shut down their businesses because the government said, hey, you're supposed to shut down your business here. You can't do commerce. How many do we know shut down their businesses? So please understand that you might sit there and say, no way, not going to happen. Did you ever think we wouldn't be able to congregate in a church? Did you ever think because of some silent, invisible enemy that you and I would so easily give up our First Amendment rights? I didn't. And now think about this. How did they do that? How did they get you and I to just freely say, oh, don't go to church? Okay. Yes, Mr. Government. If you say I shouldn't do it, then I'm just going to sit home and be a good boy. How many of us did that? There were hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in Louisiana. A pastor had to go defend his First Amendment right in the Supreme Court of the state because he wanted to continue to have more prayer in Louisiana, not less. And how did the government force a pastor to go defend himself in the Supreme Court? How did a government get you to sit in your couch, sit at home, and acquiesce your First Amendment God-given rights so easily? Under the guise of a health emergency order. Under the guise of a health emergency order, you and I were like, oh, okay, Mr. Government, if you say so. So, with that being said, let me ask you this question. Spencer, if you want to chime in here, I don't know your vocabulary, doesn't really matter, but if someone were to ask you or said the word to you, epidemic, what do you think of? Typically,
I would say pandemic, epidemic, kind of just one of those relatively close words.
Exactly. Something oriented around health. Yes? And I bring all this up because I'm going to do my best to read this for you. According to our friends over at Google, an epidemic is a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. So an epidemic is a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community. I'm getting to my point here. Please stay with me, okay? Because believe me, the people that are in front of the room right now in Washington, D.C., meaning at the podiums or at the mics, every word they use is not by accident. Why do you think they used insurrection around January 6th? Every word they use is not by accident. There is a purpose behind their language. Again, epidemic, widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. And it's also used as an adjective, the nature of an epidemic. Epidemic diseases. Again, why did you and I just so freely acquiesce and go, yes, Mr. Government, you want to take away my First Amendment rights and make me go sit on my couch inside my house all day? Okay. Because of a health emergency. Now, I bring all this up because I want you to listen closely. This is today at the White House press conference. And if we can get some volume here, Spencer, please, that would be great. White House press conference. The new White House press secretary, which she's a great reader. I mean, she can flip through that book and read like nobody's business. And I want to share with you, she was asked today about what President Joe Biden is going to speak on tonight. Listen very closely what I just laid out for you and the word that she uses to describe some of Joe Biden's conversation tonight.
Let me just say, as you guys know, the president is going to give a speech this evening at 7:30. He's going to renew his call for action to stop the epidemic of gun violence.
Whoa. The what? The what? The what? The what? The epidemic of gun violence. Do you see how they're framing this? The epidemic of gun violence. There is actually, and I wish I had it in front of me right now, but a archive, I think it's the National President Archive number 51 back in 2007. President George W. Bush put it into effect. It's called the congruency of government, meaning that if in case there is some sort of emergency, we give the president a lot of power to continue government. And the verbiage within this documentation, very squishy, very blurry. My point is, Think about how quickly you and I acquiesced our First Amendment rights because of a health pandemic. And now you've got the language being used to frame around gun owners, right? And that's why they keep going after. By the way, how many members of the NRA have ever been one of the shooters in a mass shooting massacre? The answer would be zero. Zero NRA members have ever been one of the people, at least that I can remember. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But here's a little bit more about what's happening tonight.
That we've seen in Uvalde and in Tulsa and in Buffalo in just a few short weeks. And in too many communities across the country, we see gun violence tearing up our communities, tearing up families. And so reducing gun violence has been a top priority of this president since his first day of office and throughout his career as a senator, as a vice president, and clearly as the president.
So you get the point there. Now, this is how egregious things are getting. I've asked you many times, who do you think really is running our country right now? Who has bought and paid for Joe Biden? Remember, we just lost trillions of dollars of value within this nation. We've lost now 1 million Americans to this invisible thing, right? The coronavirus. We had our State Department go, I believe it was either in Washington or Alaska, meet with the quote unquote State Department of China, right? We've lost a lot of blood and treasure because of this invisible enemy. And yet, how many times did our State Department bring up the coronavirus to the Chinese delegation? That would be zero. 0 times. And now China, listen to this. This is why I'm bringing this up. China is now urging the UN rights chief, the United Nations rights chief, coming from China. Guess who is bought and paid for here in the United States by China? The UN rights chief now to look into U.S. school shootings. Think about what the WHO is trying to do. Now you've got China dictating to the UN to say, hey, you need to look into what's going on with school shootings within the United States. I want to play for you a little clip here as well. This is President Joe Biden talking about 9mm ammo. And why would you ever need 9mm ammo? You're going to hear tonight the line about why do you need, and he's going to frame it this way. Why do you need a weapon of war? I mean, deer don't wear Kevlar. They don't wear it's beyond ridiculous at this point, right? So let me play a little bit of this for you. If we don't get to all of it, I'll play some more on the other side of this break. But then I definitely want to get to the Justin Trudeau piece, because Justin Trudeau now is framing it in Canada that by him taking away your handguns is all in the name of freedom. I'm here to help you be free by taking away your gun rights. They don't even blush when they say this stuff, too. Here's Joe Biden. It's a little bit noisy. He's heading out to his helicopter. Can't remember the exact name of it. Heading out to the helicopter, but here's what he said about 9mm.
So the idea of these high caliber weapons is there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of what they say about self-protection, hunting. Remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute. You couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was back.
Is that true? I don't think it is. I think you can or could buy one back in the day. All right, please email the show, or you can call in as well, but email us studio@chrisbergshow.com. Again, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you very much to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. Check them out, redwingshoes.com. Again, that's redwingshoes.com. Say hi to Teresa. When we come back, wait until you hear how Justin Trudeau frames taking away your rights.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Benson. I currently serve on the Fargo School Board, and I am running for...
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
There's a potential development land near Big Detroit Lake in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and excellent farm equipment retirement auctions. View these auctions and many more land and equipment auctions at pipers.com.
Have you heard the big news? Greta Van Susteren is back. She's joining Newsmax as host of their new show, The Record, with Greta Van Susteren. Starting June 14th, Greta reports on the big stories from Washington, giving you the facts you need to know. Greta is smart. She asks the tough questions, and she's always fair. Greta is journalism the way it ought to be. That's why I made the switch to Newsmax, like millions of others. Make the switch, and now you can watch Greta Van Susteren. Get info about her new show by texting the word Greta to 39747, or go to gretaisback.com. That is gretaisback.com. Make the switch today to Newsmax, America's fastest growing cable news channel, and get the latest on Greta's new show by texting Greta to 39747. Newsmax, real news for real people. I watch it all the time, and you should too.
Hey, Jordan, I heard something grand is happening June 15th.
That's right, Steve. It's the celebration of our newest Border Bank branch, located at 3203 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Who's invited?
Everybody. Invite your grandma, grand uncle, even your neighbor who drives that Grand Am.
I can hardly wait.
It'll be a grand old time. We look forward to seeing you June 15th from 2 to 5 p.m. with a ribbon cutting at 3 p.m. We're Border Bank. Customer first, community focused, member FDIC.
Think about it. Minnesota collected way more from taxpayers than it needs, resulting in the largest budget surplus in history. It's time to give it back. Think about it. State spending is at an all-time high. The rainy day fund is full, and our income tax rates are the 6th highest in the country. Hey, Governor Walz, it's our surplus. Give it back. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
I'm Jennifer Benson. Fargo is a city full of opportunities and growth. As we continue on, it is important to elect officials that have everyone's best interest in mind. If you want a candidate that will represent all of Fargo, then vote for me, Jennifer Benson, for Fargo City Commission.
Paid for by Jennifer Benson for Fargo City Commission.
Stand my ground, and I won't back down.
Don't back down. How many times? I mean, Spencer does a great job. Obviously, come with the don't back down, stand your ground laws. But he was saying earlier, like, one of the things that we wanted, he was talking about tonight is, we really need to have some sort of like Biden drinking game around what he's going to say and not say. And I think one of the questions you got to ask yourself is, here we are. You look at this different situation in Buffalo. You look at the situation in Uvalde. How many times does Joe Biden mention mental health, Spencer?
I would just say, just make sure you have plenty of water. It's going to be quite a bit. He's going to the keywords, assault rifle, and probably the city of Chicago. I would say those three are going to be the top three that you'll mention from him tonight.
Really? See, I would venture that is not going to be on my bingo card, man. I think mental health is going to be low on the totem pole. Though he won't even Chicago, like Chi-Town, won't even be on his tongue. But we could be proven wrong. We'll find out tomorrow, because I know that Spencer's going to have a beautiful, beautiful bingo card. All right, so let's get a little bit more to President Joe Biden. He was just getting ready to walk away from this conversation, and then a reporter asked him this.
The Gold Star mom.
Sir, I know you want Congress to act, but do you believe as president you have a particular responsibility now?
Oh, I know I have to, but there's a Constitution. I can't dictate this stuff.
He says there's a Constitution. I can't dictate this stuff. I heard that and I was like, haven't I heard that before? Let me ask you one more time. Who's really running the country these days? If someone sincerely asked you that, which I am, what would be your answer? Who's really running the country these days? And I was like, wait, I have heard that before. Hey, aren't you going to do something? But, even though Congress, well, I'm not a dictator. Oh, let me see if I can remind you.
To your question, what could you do?
This reporter's asking about Congress, the leaders of the Senate and the House.
Couldn't you just have them down here and refuse to let them leave the room until you have a deal?
Jessica, I am not
a dictator. I'm the president.
And I'm not a dictator. Honestly, I think that's one of the things that frustrates me most sometimes about being in this chair is I feel like we just run in circles. We just run in circles. We need to stop. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? Like, no, this is why I've told you there will be a third party sooner than we think, sooner than we realize. There will be a third party in this nation because everyone's fed up with it. I wish I could play some of President Trump's inauguration speech where he talks about, look, no more. No more. Are we going to sit here and make these clowns in D.C. wealthy while you sit at home and just go, thank you, sir, may I have another? Those days are, we're going to give the power back to you, the people. That's why this nation was created. For we, the people, by the people, not a bunch of clowns that sit in D.C. for 30 years and get paid off by China. I'm going off on a tangent because I'm just cannot believe what's happening sometimes. All right. So I know many of you probably heard this clip. I just want to play a little bit of what Prime Minister, there's a bunch of names I can use right now, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said about handguns, but there's a piece of his speech that I haven't seen anybody else play that I think it's really important for you to hear, knowing that these are our northern, just north of the border to us, what's happening in that nation, and then how Trudeau frames what he's doing. Again, when these people get in front of the mic, their words are not a mistake. They will always tell you, we just don't always hear it because there's so much going on in our lives. First, here's a little bit about Trudeau talking about the handguns.
We're moving forward. We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada.
Keep that in mind. No more handguns. Buy, sell, nothing. Nada. No mas in Canada. Okay. Handguns. Very important to make that note. I'll explain why in a moment. Now, here's what Trudeau does at the end of a speech. It's a, 10-minute speech. He just told you, hey, I'm going to strip away your right to defend yourself, to defend your family. I am here to strip away that right so you can no longer defend yourself or your family and or others. Remember, good guys with the guns, good people with the guns can save lives too. And this is the gall of the PM of Canada, how he frames what he is doing to strip you of your ability to defend yourself. This is shocking.
And this is about freedom. People should be free to go to the supermarket, their school, or their place of worship without fear.
Did you throw up in your mouth yet?
These people should be free to go to the park or to a birthday party without worrying about what might happen from a stray bullet. Gun violence is a complex problem, but at the end of the day, the math is really quite simple. The fewer the guns in our communities, the safer everyone will be.
So keep in mind, I'm going to strip you of your right to protect yourself and others because I'm here to give you freedom. This is about freedom. I mean, it is stunning to me the way they're going to frame this conversation to you. Now, keep in mind, no handguns. He just said there that the less guns there are, the more lives we save. Now, why is nobody else standing at the rooftops telling you about what happened in West Virginia? I'm going to play a story from you from a news organization out of West Virginia to give you the full context. Please listen closely, and then please share this with every single human being you know, especially in the context of what I just shared with you with Justin Trudeau, and I'm rhyming.
She did the right thing. I don't know if any other person would have done that.
A woman in Charleston is being credited for averting a mass shooting. Charleston police say it all started when this man, 37-year-old
Oh, 1 second here. My computer.
Dennis Butler, was speeding up and down the parking lot. That's when he was approached by people attending a graduation party and a birthday party, asking him to slow down as children were playing. They said he seemed agitated and left, but shortly after, he returned to the complex, armed with an AR-15 style rifle, and started shooting at the crowd.
So guy shows up with a, what are they going to call it tonight? Weapon of war. Sorry, Spencer, if I just stole your thunder, my friend. weapon of war. And so he shows up here. Oh, don't do this to me. My computer just went bonsai. Hold on a second. We're going to get back to this. And this is going to work. So be patient. All right. So we're going to have to mute my computer for a second, or I'll mute it. But hopefully you get the gist of what's happening here. This gentleman shows up with an AR-15. And what you're about to hear when I get back to it is that there is a woman in this particular town. I believe it's Charleston, West Virginia. There's a woman that is in downtown. She's hanging out. She sees this guy show up with the AR-15.
Crowd. Police say a woman then pulled out her pistol, shot him, and killed him.
I will say on the Charleston, West Virginia case, Charleston Police Department case, this lady was carrying a lawful firearm, okay, a law-abiding citizen who stopped the threat of probably 20 to 30 people getting killed. She engaged the threat and stopped it. She didn't run from
Justin Trudeau, what are you going to say, my friend? They were down in a park. Woman lawfully owned a firearm, and she just saved 20 to 30 lives.
the threat. She engaged it, preventing a mass casualty here in Charleston.
Police say Butler has an extensive criminal history. Back in 2016, he was accused of shooting and pistol whipping a 19-year-old woman, but those charges were dismissed because no witnesses testified at the pretrial hearing.
Court records show Butler had been convicted of 2 felonies in the past, meaning he should have never had a gun to begin with.
Wait. You think Justin and Joe know this? Do you think Justin and Joe know that criminals don't follow the laws, or they just assume that everybody's going to follow the law? Because a guy's got 2 felonies, has no right to a firearm.
Unlike other
and yet
teenagers, Cadence Nicholson.
He's out walking around with an AR-15. How is that possible, Justin and Joe? They want to strip you, law-abiding citizens, of your legal, God-given fundamental rights to own a firearm, to protect and serve you and your family, to protect yourselves and others, as this woman did in West Virginia, and then sell it to you that it's all in the name of freedom and to save lives. And the worst part is, which I need to mention real quick here, because we got a special guest coming up in the next segment, is that guess what Justin is now decriminalized? So you can no longer own a handgun in Canada, but guess what you can have on you in your pocket? Fentanyl. So you can no longer have a handgun, but you can have fentanyl in Canada. That is how insane things are getting today in the world. And if you're not aware of this, we've talked about it many times. Fentanyl, #1 killer here in the United States of America, people 18 to 49. All right, if you are someone, give me just a second here, Spencer, if you don't mind. If you're someone right now that is dealing with any form of anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, I want to invite you, please do yourself a favor. It's a free consultation. Go check out Cereset of Fargo. It is a brain training, brain massage. Can help wipe away the anxiety, the depression, the fear. Give them a call, 701-566-5231. Again, 701-566-5231.
We'll have partly cloudy to mostly clear conditions through this evening into tonight, with wind lightening up around 5 to 15 as it turns to the north-northeast throughout the overnight hours. We'll drop down to a low of 40 and rebound back to 72 for your Friday afternoon. Partly cloudy out there with a southwest wind around 5 to 15. And for your Saturday, wind remains light. Another partly cloudy afternoon with highs in the lower 70s. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Hello. My name is Blake Hankey, and I am running for district judge. I've been an attorney for 18 years, litigated thousands of cases in a variety of practice areas. I love this community and being involved. I'm a 1994 graduate of Fargo South High School, a youth hockey coach for the Fargo Youth Hockey Association, and the current mayor of Harwood. My family and I would appreciate your vote on June 14th. For more information, please visit hankeyforjudge.com.
Paid for by the committee to elect Blake Hankey.
Did you know that periodontal disease is the #1 health problem in small animal patients? Hello, I'm Dr. Calderwood, a veterinary dental practitioner at Prairie Winds Veterinary Center. By 2 years of age, 80% of dogs and 70% of cats have some form of periodontal disease. If you notice a change in your pet's playful habits, breath, or facial swelling, there's a chance that your pet is suffering from mouth pain. Prairie Winds Veterinary Center can help. Call us at 701-356-5600 or learn more at prairiewindsvet.com.
Cybersecurity professionals safeguard our lives and businesses from malicious attacks. At the University of Mary, we educate those ready to face these challenges in our local communities and across the globe. Through our cybersecurity administration degree, which can be completed on campus or online, you can make our world a safer and more ethical place to work and thrive. Attend the University of Mary for your degree in cybersecurity. Learn more at umary.edu/CSA.
Tioga Chamber of Commerce is proud to sponsor programming on WZFG AM 1100 92.3 FM Red River Valley. Tioga is an active community that offers great activities for families like Freedom Fest, Drone Camp for Kids, Robot Camp for Kids, Farm Festival, and Pumpkin Fest. We have a vibrant downtown Main Street and a brand new community center with new library, indoor play area, and outdoor ice skating rink. Tioga's average yearly household income is over $73,000 a year and supports nearly 140 businesses. We welcome new business and industries with active community groups that support business environment. Tioga is a driver of innovation and local education with technologies like drones, 3D printers, electronics, coding opportunities to prepare students for success well into the 21st century. If you're looking for opportunity, please visit us in Tioga and experience a different point of view. Or for more information, visit www.tiogand.org. That's tiogand.org. We want you to consider Tioga, North Dakota for your business or a place to raise your family and realize your dreams.
With warmer weather around the corner, now is the time to get your place ready for summer, and Broughton Cabinets is here to help. Broughton Cabinets has a dedicated team of full-time designers with over 40 years experience. Whether you're building your dream home or remodeling and need to update your cabinets, no matter the design or budget, Broughton Cabinets will make your vision a reality, all while keeping your family in mind. Stop by our showroom on the I-29 frontage road next to Fleet Farm or visit online at broughtoncabinets.com.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
What you say? Freedom.
Freedom, freedom, freedom. Spencer, thank you very much for that. Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free and enjoy freedom. The good news for you is I'm not Justin Trudeau. I'm not going to say to you, hey, let me strip you of your gun rights, and I'm going to do it all under the guise of freedom because I want you to be free and not be able to defend yourself. Anyways, wonder about you again. If you want to email into the show, very easy to do. It's studio@chrisbergshow.com. Studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you very much to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. If you're someone that's out there and you're working hard every day in one of those great blue collar jobs, do yourself a favor and go say hi to Teresa at Red Wing Shoes. It's 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Again, 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo, or just check them out online, redwingshoes.com. So speaking of freedom, I think one of the greatest things that our community could do to actually generate freedom for you and everyone in our community would be to get rid of special assessments. Bye-bye. Ciao. No mas. And so we've got a very special guest in studio right now who I think would like to see the same thing happen. Jody Plessity, she's running for Fargo City Commission. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth. So I guess let's maybe just start with running for City Commission. Not an easy thing. I think your heart and soul's got to be into it. When did you have that moment to go, this is what I need to do, and why?
Probably a couple months ago, kind of had that aha moment. And to be honest with you, it started the beginning of the year. I started meeting people in my life to kind of direct me and push me that way. And I fought it a little bit. I didn't really want to go into politics, but at the end of the day, I am fully qualified to do this position as a fiscally conservative woman, and here I am.
So what got you over the edge? You said no at first, and then did something finally happen? You're like, okay, I gotta jump in.
Well, I met with some of the current commissioners, past commissioners, the mayor, and just kind of asked what's the job description of a commissioner? And they told me, and I was like, well, So basically, I'm fully qualified for this position. And I sat on it for probably another week or two and just, I kind of prayed about it a lot, thought about it. And at the end of the day, I was like, if I go into this new adventure, let me stay Jody. Let me keep pushing forward with my mission and who I am, and don't let me get caught in the weeds. So here I am having fun.
So you've got a really great background that if we have time, we'll get to. And I always like to kind of start with, so what's the problem? Is you're going out, I'm assuming you're door knocking, talking to the people of Fargo, like what's the number one, maybe two or three issues, problems that people continue to communicate it to you about?
Special assessments on homes,
Really?
honestly, and incentives. That those are two of the big ones, and then safety as well. So those are all kind of a bunch of my key campaign notes.
All right. So let's start with
Mhm.
special assessments.
Yeah.
So you get elected. What do you do about special assessments?
So I'm the only candidate that will tell you that I do plan on getting rid of special assessments moving forward. Now, can I get rid of the $500+ million in debt we have already? No, unfortunately, we just have to end a bad program moving forward. And we need to be using infrastructure money for infrastructure. And that's the biggest issue right now is the city is not doing that. And it's very unpredictable for the homeowners.
What do you mean specifically?
Well, can I grab my whiteboard?
Yes, she's got a whiteboard that she's going to now pull up and share with us.
So here we go. So how am I going to end special assessments? The water and sewer plant currently bring in a 1/2 cent sales tax, which is supposed to be used for infrastructure, mind you. Okay. So we bring in about $7 million a year into each of those. And it only takes about $2 million a year to sustain and operate each of those plants. So at the end of the year, the city is moving about $10 million+ into the general fund. And guess what?
Wait.
They're not using it on infrastructure.
Wait. 10 million?
Yep.
Is that number accurate? I've seen
Actually,
a million
it's probably higher. to be
a
honest with you.
year.
Yep.
Where's that money coming from?
So, well, it's coming from the 1/2 cent sales tax that's being generated that the citizens voted on for infrastructure. And it goes into the water and sewer plant. Now, the water and sewer plant only need about $2 million a year to sustain and operate each of those plants. So all of that other fund gets funneled down and they're moving it into the general fund and they're spending it on whatever they want, whether it's buses, bike paths, things like that, not infrastructure. Number one.
Wow. Okay.
So number two, we also have the Prairie Dog Fund. Now that comes from the state. That's another $10 million a year we get for infrastructure. So at the end of the day, you take 10 and 10, that's about $20 million every year that is supposed to be used for city infrastructure. Okay. So guess what? I just ended special assessments moving forward because the city spends about $20 million a year on infrastructure assessments. And why are we turning around and charging these homeowners for this the repairs that are being done? It's totally unfair. It's not right. It needs to be fixed. And I do plan on fixing it.
So let me ask you your own question. Why is the city doing that?
Good question.
I think you know the answer if you've studied this. Do you know?
Well, the city is making money off of building assessments as well. They're incentivizing way too many businesses and taking millions of dollars out of the pockets of hardworking Fargo citizens, and it needs to stop. They say people can't afford to live here. Well, guess why? Because we are assessing them. And the thing is, if you've had an assessment and you've paid it off, you will have one again. It's guaranteed. Just because you've paid an assessment on your home, it's going to come again. You know why? Because there's repairs that need to be done. The street needs to be dug up. And anytime the city has to do that, you get slapped 15, 20 grand on your home.
So if you're just joining us, Jody Plessity, she's running for Fargo City Commission. She's joining us in studio talking about getting rid of no mas special assessments forever, which I think is a great aspiration. And one of the things that she didn't say that I thought she was going to say that I want to just see if you've got an opinion on is one of the things I really get upset about is the fact that, okay, the city goes and they take out this bond that, let's say, I'm going to use arbitrary numbers right now, but 4%, right? And then they charge you 5% and they take that 1% rip and put that into the general fund.
Guess what? It's actually more than that. You want to hear the real truth?
I heard it was lower to 1%, but it was higher, correct?
So when they do a development assessment, let's say they build Rocking Horse Farms, the city goes and takes out a loan for that project. They add 30% fees on to that dollar amount before they charge it to you with interest.
And the 30% fees are what? their engineering fees. Like, that's the other thing that I can't believe is the fact that we are sitting here as a city funding this huge engineering firm.
Mhm. Well, think about it. Don't we have people that work within the city that do some of this scope of work? Isn't that what
Yes.
they're hired to do, Chris?
But I'm saying we could do that through we could hire them as, consultants, engineer consultants rather than having FTEs. Anyways, I don't
And they're refinancing those bonds too. You know that they're doing that. They're
Yes.
turning around doing that. That's
And-
why
and-
our bond rating is going.
and we don't get any of that money back. They don't ever come back and go, "Hey, you know what, Jody, actually I owe you some money." No, they just keep putting it into the general
Nope.
slush fund. So the other thing you mentioned, and I do want to frame it this way, is we found out, I believe it was late last night, early this morning, that we did lose the young woman, the mom of the 7-month-old who was shot outside of Plaza Azteca.
Yeah.
You said the second thing that people are talking about is safety.
Yep.
Your assessment on safety in the city, one, and two, where are you at? Because the conversation's out there right now on gun control. Should there be some more gun control measures put in place? Are you a maximalist Second Amendment? Like, hey, you should walk around with open firearms. Like, where are you at on that?
So to answer your question, very sad. I saw that about the young woman that her life is passed now, and that's horrible. I am a huge supporter of the police department, and I actually am endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the Red River Valley Lodge 1. So super honored for that, and also the United Republican Committee. I have been endorsed as well, for
Nice.
commissioner. So to answer those couple of questions, safety is a huge concern for me. I'm concerned for our police officers' well-being, their mental and physical state, not just putting them out into squad cars 40 hours a week, but also how are we making sure that they're healthy, because they're taking care of us and we need more cops. And to answer your other question, as a woman, it's my right to be able to protect myself, whether with some type of weapon, firearm, learning jujitsu, whatever that might be. So I do support the Second Amendment.
So any kind of restrictions as far as magazines? I mean, one of the things I was going to mention earlier and I didn't is, 18-year-olds shouldn't be able to buy long rifles, according to some lawmakers. Just, are there any restrictions on the Second Amendment in your eyes or none?
Well, I'd have to dig a little further on that, but as far as supporting the Second Amendment rights, I do support that. I do think there needs to be obviously background checks. Not just anybody should be able to go, purchase a firearm.
So universal background, gosh, the time just flies. People want to find
I
out
need to
more
come back.
about you. Yes, you do. If people want to find out more about you, how can they do that?
You can go to jodyplessity.com, and my name has the word city in it. So when you go to vote, I'm about 10 down on the ballot. City of Fargo Commissioner Jody Plessity.
I love that. jodyplessity.com. jodyplessity.com. Please go check her out. Thank you for being here. We will definitely have you back. Okay.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Thank you. It's kind of nice to have you here. All right. So I want to remind you, as well as you're driving home from work, please stop into your local PetroServe USA, helping you in America fuel better. Stop in, grab some gas and some goodies. And when we come back, did you know you could do this at Chipotle? We're going to tell you what it is coming up right after this.
If all the craziness in the world has you second guessing your retirement future, there's no better time than right now to get the answers you need. Join John Hagenson for Rethink Your Money with Keystone Wealth Partners every Sunday morning at 5. Keystone Wealth Partners is a registered investment advisory firm.
Golf should be a relaxing yet challenging experience. When you play at Pebble Lake Golf Club, you play amongst mature trees, roller coaster hills on some holes, and unique bunkers and water hazards along the way. Pebble Lake Golf Club in Fergus Falls combines the beauty of nature and the challenge of a championship course, including generous fairways and exceptional greens. And the 18th hole was featured in Minnesota Golf Magazine a few years back. To find out more or book a tee time, go online at playpebblelake.com.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Nothing says I love you like a new pair of shoes.
Hi, Teresa here from the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. Whether or not the father in your life needs new footwear, why not buy him a gift certificate to Red Wing Shoes? No matter the size of his foot or the demand of his job, Red Wing shoes are strong, they're durable, they provide comfort and stability.
Just like our dad.
Stop in and see for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
As you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Now Mike has done it again by introducing his My Slippers. And for a limited time, you will save $90 on a pair of My Slippers. This blowout sale of the year won't last, so order right now. These took over 2 years to develop. The My Slippers are designed to wear indoor or outdoors all day long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. And they're made with quality leather suede. Call 800-506-9028 right now. Use the promo code SCOTT, 800-506-9028, or go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, and use my promo code SCOTT. Now, this offer will not last long, so remember, order now with your promo code SCOTT at MyPillow.com or call 800-506-9028 right now to save $90 a pair on My Slipper moccasins or slip-ons from MyPillow.
Attention North Dakota veterans. Did you know there is free transportation provided to veterans for medical appointments? This service is at no cost to you and available in several highly rural counties throughout the state. Call 1-800-920-9595 or contact your county veteran service officer for further information. North Dakota Veterans Affairs, proudly serving veterans from around the state with additional resources.
This message is sponsored by the Department of Veteran Affairs and aired in cooperation by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association and this station.
If all the craziness in the world has you second guessing your retirement future, there's no better time than right now to get the answers you need. Join John Hagenson for Rethink Your Money with Keystone Wealth Partners every Sunday morning at 5. Keystone Wealth Partners is a registered investment advisory firm.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Blowing the dirty judgment in my mind.
Man, Spencer just dropping some jams today. Like, that just takes me so back in time to the summertime, just chilling out. So I don't know who that was, but boy, it brings back memories. So thank you for that, Spencer.
Seals and Crofts?
Seals and Crofts. See,
Yeah.
all I know is like Ice Cube and Tupac, right? I mean, if you would have played some of that, I could have said, oh yeah, that's Public Enemy #1, or that's, whatever. But some of those, I love the jams, just don't know. Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth. We are like your one-a-day vitamin, right? When it comes to getting down to the root of what's happening right now in our nation and doing it in a fashion that you can actually be free. Not the Justin Trudeau way, but the Chris Berg Show way, where you can go out and live your best life. One of the ways you can do that, possibly, not for everybody, this is not financial advice. And right now you can see, in fact, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan said yesterday that, hey, there's not a financial storm on the horizon. It is a hurricane. Like, be prepared. We don't even know what that means. We have lived such cushy, nice lives for so long here in the United States that we don't even really know what that means. Could that mean the demise of the dollar? I don't know. All I know is that there's a big conversation right now going on around crypto. So if you're someone who is even just remotely crypto curious, I would invite you to go check out thereaper.io. Again, it's the Reaper, REAPER.io. Patrick is the guy there. So you can just email him, Patrick at thereaper.io. But he is like a chairman of a blockchain thing, and he's fantastic. So he'll be more than happy to sit down with you and just talk about the Reaper token, crypto, blockchain, and all the great things that are happening in that space, which, by the way, one of the great things about that space, you may remember Warren Buffett recently at the Berkshire Hathaway stockholder meeting. And also when we had the Federal Reserve president, the Minneapolis branch, Neil Kashkari, in town, and he kind of blew off crypto and Bitcoin. Is like, stuff's a joke. He's like, I can't buy anything with it. Those times are now over, because it was and I've talked about this before. There's other apps you can use to go use crypto and Bitcoin to buy stuff. But right now, it was announced yesterday, our friends over at Chipotle now taking Bitcoin and crypto via an app where you can just basically walk into Chipotle, use this app, and say, muchas gracias por mi comida. Muy bien. Muchas gracias. So wanted to let you know that if you're someone that's into crypto, of course, what you're going to hear from me, really important, never spend your Bitcoin. Leverage it. There's different apps out there you can put your Bitcoin on, and you can then, borrow money against it and go buy some other cryptos or buy a house or whatever it is you want to do, but never sell your Bitcoin. Somebody might go, well, Berg, why? Why does it matter if I go and sell some of my Bitcoin? Like, big deal. If you look at some companies right now, they're actually using Bitcoin as an asset. an asset that holds value, right? And I say that because I think this is really important to know. There's a thing in Bitcoin where it's called halving. I don't want to get into those details today, maybe another time, but it's called halving. And check this out. In 2012, in fact, Spencer, I'll ask you, right? I don't know how much you're into crypto. You and I, your relationship
you're
and I
right.
is kind of new. It's kind
Yeah, but you've taught me what I've known so far, and so I kind of take it off of you. So you're my little mentor on that.
So Bitcoin in 2012 was how much do you think? How many dollars was it for one Bitcoin?
I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say it's under $1. I'm going to say some change.
That's legit. It was $12. 2012 Bitcoin was
Not
$12,
bad.
right? 2016, $647. 2020, 8,787. So, hey, in less than 10 years, you're getting a pretty good ROI. The big question is, because the next halving in Bitcoin is in 2024. So what's the price going to be in 2024? You've got a bunch of naysayers out there going, man, this thing was like 69 G's and now it's back down to 30. It was $12 in 2012, right? I don't even know what the ROI is on that. But if you would have put $12 into the S&P 500 in 2012 and you walked away with 30 G's, I think you'd be pretty stoked right now. At least I would be. So I just wanted to share that with you. So we're going to continue to educate. And you know what? I love what Spencer just said. Let me be your Bitcoin, your crypto mentor, your crypto guide. If you're crypto curious, I'll be your crypto guide. We need to buy that URL, Spencer. Crypto curious, I'll be your crypto guide. So we'll walk you through this thing. So hopefully you can have some fun and make some money. Again, not financial advice by no way, shape, or form. Do your own homework. And I think it's great to know that Chipotle now you can walk in. And if you do want to spend some crypto, maybe you got some Dogecoin, whatever it might be, you can pull out your app and buy yourself a beautiful burrito. And you can buy it if I say, Jody's sticking around and she had a hint for us about Chipotle that I had no idea about.
I thought this was what you were going to say, actually. So when you get to the checkout, you're supposed to say, is it made with love, or make it with love? And sometimes you get it free, or I have anyway.
I'm not touching that, but hey, you know what? Good for you. Congratulations. I don't know if I'm going to try that or not, but congratulations. Apparently, maybe you just need to say, hey, I'm with Jody Plessity, make it with love. And they'll just be like, oh, okay. You know what? We'll just throw this beautiful burrito in for you. So want to remind you, tonight, President Joe Biden will speak about gun violence in America. That's coming up at 6:30 p.m., so about 90 minutes away. Tomorrow, we've got our Feel Good Friday. Very special guest. Thanks to Giving Hearts Day will be joining us in studio, so we'll get a chance to visit with them about the great impact they're making on our community. And, of course, we will have the latest and the greatest on the news that is coming out tomorrow, and probably also recap President Joe Biden's speech as well. This is the Chris Berg Show. Great jam. Your home of freedom. If you are a truth lover, freedom fighter, you're in the right place. I love you. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4.